What's up, y'all? The NBA season is back, and while teams continue to find their footing, our partners at Fanatics Sportsbook are already running championship plays. Bet with Fanatics and earn up to 10% fan cash on your bets, win or lose. So even if your bet misses, you're still scoring fan cash, which you can use on NBA gear, tickets, and exclusive Fanatics events. And with fair play, if your players go down injured in the first half, your bet stays live. Make the switch and get more ways to win with Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to KFS Weekly Wagers. I am Shawn for W. Happy Monday, and I'm joined today not by Mensa Smith, who could not make it today, but by the dean of Knicks Film School himself, Mr. Jonathan Macri. Jonathan, how are you?
I'm going to try to do my best Mensa impersonation, but try as I might, never in my life will be able to get off the takes that he gets off on an hourly basis. Forget a daily basis, an hourly basis.
Mensa is a tough act to follow, but I'm pretty sure this is not your first rodeo, so you will be perfectly fine. So thanks for joining me, and let's dive into the week that was from a betting perspective. So first of all, first we look at the weekend review. So John, I don't know. Listen, I know you watch this show live every single Monday, so you know exactly how this show goes. But just in case, and for those who may be watching for the first time, I'll show you. We'll go through everything. We'll go through how we do everything. So first, we do the weekend review, and we look at how the Knicks did from a betting perspective since our last show and for the season. So overall, the Knicks are 8-4 against the spread, and they're 8-4 against the money line. So when the Knicks cover, they win, and 9 of their 12 games have gone over. Specifically this week, the Knicks are 2-1 against the spread. They covered against, let's see if I get this off the top of my head. Well, they did not cover against Orlando because they lost outright. But they did cover against obviously the Miami Heat on Friday. And who did they play?
It was not, you could be forgiven.
Yeah.
That it was, yeah.
Was it the team from the other side of the bridge, on the other side of the river?
Was this the week of the Brooklyn game? Well, that's a great question.
I feel like we as Knicks content creators should maybe not know the entire Knicks schedule.
I'll give you a hint.
Okay, give me a hint.
This team is in a bad place. We have spent a lot of time talking about this team on NBA Takedown and their point guard.
Oh, that's right. We put John a spliff. Okay, there we go. So 2-1 against the spread, 2-1 straight up, and 3-0 to the over. John, do you find it interesting that the Knicks, when they cover, they win, and if they don't cover, they just lose?
I don't know that I find that interesting for any. All that says to me is the Knicks haven't been in a ton of close games. Which they haven't. Like, we haven't had to sweat one out in a while. The closest game that we've come to having to sweat it out was this past Miami game, which was, it felt like it was neck and neck the whole game, and yet you got down to the end and they ended up kind of winning. I mean, they were up by almost 20 points, I think, in the fourth quarter, or 15 or 16, whatever it was. But that was just like one of those sorts of games. And like the other part of it is, like, how often this year are the Knicks going to be? Funny, I say that ahead of a game in which they are a slight dog, but I was going to say, how many games this year are they going to be a slight dog? Like, most of the time, the Knicks are going to be a slight favorite. So if they don't win, they're probably not going to cover. That said, tonight, Miami 2-point favorites, so maybe we'll get the first time where the Knicks, I don't know, where the Knicks cover, I guess, maybe, and don't win if it's a 1-pointer, but no, it's so close. It's 2 points.
No, absolutely. And we will absolutely dive into that Miami game in a bit. Um, really quickly, let us recap how we did in betting and sweating this week. So this week in betting and sweating. So these are the picks that are made in the app, which you are able to see in the Fanatics Sportsbook app. Shout out to our sponsor, Fanatics Sportsbook. Andrew is 5-1. He has got one wrong all year, followed by Jeff at 5-2, John at 5-3. I'm at 4-3, and Menta at 4-4.
So these are year long.
These are year long.
Okay, just confirming.
Yes, this is year long. Now,
how does Andrew only have 6 picks?
Well, because
chicanery. That's how.
Yeah. Yes. Chicanery. Malfeasance. Hijinks.
Yes.
Skullduggery. all of that.
All
So those are the stands for this week. Now, those are for the app. Those are for the picks that are in the app. Now, for our betting and sweating picks, which are the ones that we record a video for that go out about 90 to 2 hours before the game, I have those standings here. And here we go.
There we go.
I lead with 32 points. I'm tired of Andrew because Andrew's been on the heater ever since I talked cash shit before the last time I went, when I point out to everyone that I was in the lead and I hadn't made a pick since October 23rd. And Andrew took that personally. So now he's in second place. Excuse me, tied for first. I'm ahead on goal difference. Inside joke. Followed by Jeff at 28 points, John at 24 points, and bringing up the goddamn rear.
Again, he is here with the hot takes. He's not here for safe and secure. He's here for the heat.
Hey, listen, you miss all the shots you don't take, and when you, including the ones from the logo. So
yeah, there you go.
So that is the week that is the week, and that is our performance. I say all this to say, listen. We're doing a good job. Like, we hit our parlay on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
We've hit 2 of 3 parlays. We've hit two out of 3 legs on parlays a few times over the last week or so, over the last week and a half or so. So, rock out with your boys. Let's stick with us. Stick with us. All right. What to look for this week? Now, this is the first episode of the show where we have a game to discuss. As John said, Miami is a 2-point favorite. Miami is a 2-point favorite. This game is in Miami. This will be our second trip to Miami and third game in a month, which is in the first month of the season, which is pretty interesting. But the real story here is that we now know that we will not have OG, Anunoby, and Jalen Brunson for this game. And for the foreseeable future, OG will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. Jalen Brunson he's traveling with the team, which is good. So I guess he's day to day. I do not think that we will see him. I don't think we'll see him. Obviously, we won't see him tonight. I don't think we'll see him at Dallas on Wednesday. Maybe. I think because Wednesday will be a week.
If he can walk, he can play.
And that is why we have training staffs to say, like, I know you can walk. However,
maybe you shouldn't play.
So maybe I think I'm looking at the 22nd, which is a Saturday against Orlando for him to return. So with that said, I think when we did betting and sweating on Friday, obviously we knew Jalen wasn't going to play in that game. We all looked for edges. Okay, what edge exists there that I'll be able to take advantage of. And we spoke about it. We spoke about this right before we went on the air, John. Like, you looked at Josh Hart triple-double.
Yes.
I took Josh Hart triple-double. And then obviously he hit the triple-double, but his assist went over. I had picked Karl-Anthony Towns' assist over that hit. So what are you? Yeah, go ahead.
I was about to say this is the first game all year where I actually made 3 bets in one game. Mm-hmm. And I did Towns 30 or more points, Mitch 8 or more rebounds. That cashed out. The over that cashed out probably in the third quarter. And then Josh Hart over 5.5 assists, which I think cashed out at halftime. So yeah. So what am I looking for in the week ahead? Basically, so let's assume that to your proposition that Jalen Brunson is not going to play basketball in the next 2 games. And we know Anunoby is not going to play in the next 5 games because he can go on the road trip. I am looking for, I would say I would go in 2 directions. And I was hoping when I looked on the app this morning that this number would be a little lower, but you know, the fine folks at Fanatics, they're not slow on the uptake. They're quick to this. Mikal Bridges points. I was hoping maybe because he's what is he averaging? Like 16 points a game. I was thinking, maybe I could get it tonight at like 18 and a half. No, or even like 17 and a half. No, you got it. He has to score 20 for you to cash that one out. But that's still the way I'm looking, because I think even though he's coming off a couple iffy games shooting wise, like, you know, and despite what Karl-Anthony Towns did against the Heat in the last game, I'm loving just the notion that Bridges is going to become a 20-plus point scorer for as long as both Brunson and OG Anunoby are out. And then the other direction, we already saw this, and this is not going to be a surprise to anyone who's been watching the Knicks for a few years, is Josh Hart assists. I think going back and rewatching the Towns performance from the other night, it's amazing how often that Josh Hart was the ball handler on those scenarios, which I know this isn't X's and O's, but it makes sense, because how do you minimize Josh Hart's spacing concerns? Well, one, tell him to shoot the ball, which he has been doing, which is great, but also just have him be involved directly in the pick and roll with Towns. And so I think they're going to continue to do that for as many possessions as Towns and Hart are in the game together. So those would be the 2 directions that I am looking in. And then just like all the 3-point bets, because if you don't have, I mean, obviously you don't have Brunson to drive and kick, so that's maybe a negative, but I think there is going to be a fair number of possessions where they just maybe can't generate great offense, or if they do, it's going to be a 3-pointer, and if they don't, it's like, all right, who could take the most open 3?
Very well said. The 3 points are interesting because, and shout out to Jason Meredith, he said this on Study Hall on Saturday, that it took a while for him to get used to the concept of the Knicks saying, you know what, we're just going to outscore you, because that's not something that the Knicks have. That's not necessarily an identity the Knicks have embraced.
No.
So to your point, they'll, like, Mike tells them, if you're open, shoot it from 3, and they've absolutely obliged. Mike Brown.
Everyone is obliging.
Yes, just like if you're open, let it fly.
Josh Hart, 3-pointers for 36 minutes this year, 4.5. Last season it was 3.1. So
there you go. In terms of Bridges scoring, I agree with you. He's averaging 15.6 points per game, and to your point, his points per game, as I check out on the Fanatics Sportsbook app, is his prop today. Yeah, they're not messing around. Same way they're not messing around with the assists. They were like, we're not doing this again.
No, they're not. I mean, look, this is not their first rodeo as much as it's not our first rodeo. It's like we know what happens when Jalen Brunson goes down. He was down for a month last year. We saw what happened.
And that is an amazing segue, John. That's why you are a legend in the business. And in the business, I mean the industry. To my trend, which are the emerging playmakers. To your point, Jalen Brunson missed a month last year, and we were all looking. The curiosity was going to be like, how are they going to generate an offense? Who will be a playmaker? Who would absorb? Who would take on the pressure of helping to generate offense? So full disclosure, going into Miami game, I said to myself, all right, I need to know who Mike Brown's going to use to run offense through. If this were a Tom Thibodeau team, I would have been like, okay, it's going to be, you're going to get a lot of Josh Hart. You know, we all remember that game against Portland last year when Mikal Bridges was basically the fulcrum of the offense, what have you. But the thing is,
did Cat play in that game? I'm going to look it up right now.
Yeah, that's because a good question.
You know what? And that's my bad for not knowing that off the top. My memories of that game are so centered on Mikal Bridges and Josh Hart, but maybe he played and he was quiet.
You know what? Or maybe he didn't, and because
I got it right here. Okay. He did play in that game. He played 31 minutes. Oh, he was 40. That's why we don't remember it. Oh,
He was
wait, no. Sorry, that was the home game against Portland. He was 8. Oh no, he had a good game. He was 8 of 12. He 21 points.
okay.
38 minutes.
So, so he played that game. So for this game against Miami, I said, all right, the offense is gonna. One of these three guys is gonna be a playmaker. Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges, or Karl-Anthony Towns. So I actually made 3 bets. I bet Josh Hart triple-double, Mikal Bridges double-double, figured get 10 and 10 assists, and Karl-Anthony Towns triple-double, because I knew like he's gonna get 10 rebounds. It will get 10 points to get the assist. Obviously, Josh Hart hit at plus 1,800. Congrats to me. Let's see, but I also, as I said earlier, I gave out Cat plus 4 assists, 4+ assists at which was at plus money, and he barely hit that number. These are so I looked at the Knicks' last 10 games when Brunson did not play and the assist totals.
I'm happy you went here. Because I just looked it up too.
Okay, so in the last 10 games where Brunson did not play, Josh Hart averages 7.3 assists a game. He had 10 on Friday.
Yeah.
Karl-Anthony Towns averages 3.2 assists per game. He had 4 on Friday. And Mikal Bridges averaged 4.3 assists a game, and he had 5 on Friday. So I'm going to, until Fanatics makes this untenable for me to bet, my focus will be on who these assist numbers will be coming from.
The only skepticism I have with Cat in particular is, again, I just looked it up, was out last year, 3.3 assists, which is the same number of assists he had when Brunson was in. He had just 3.3 for the year. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he stepped up as a playmaker then. No, that was under Tom Thibodeau. This is under Mike Brown. But what does Mike Brown preach? Mike Brown preaches it's constant motion. And what I noticed from Cat against Miami is he got the hockey assist a lot, or even more, like, if not the hockey assist, he was the person on the offense that drew in the defense with pick and roll or whatever. And then maybe the ball didn't even touch his hands. He was responsible for the play happening. He was in some ways the playmaker on the play, even if he wasn't directly responsible for the basket or the assist or anything. So Cat assist numbers are always tricky to me, because you'll have these random games where he has 5 dimes in the first quarter, and then he won't have any for the rest of the game, and none in the next game. He's a finicky guy when it comes to that stuff. And again, it's not usually indicative of how much of an impact he's having on the offense. The other two I could get behind completely. Hard assists and Mikal assists. I think if you go with both of those for the duration of the time that at least Brunson is out, you're gonna be happy you did.
Now, also, as we said earlier, OG Anunoby will be out. But I've been trying to figure out how, what vacuum does he leave behind when he doesn't play that you can take advantage of from betting? It's not like, say that again? Oh, threes, I guess. Yeah. That's
because he's putting up 8 threes a game. They don't seem like they're going to put up any fewer threes. So it's like, where are those 8 threes? And then on top of that, how many threes is Brunson averaging a game? 5 or 6 attempts a game? Yeah. So really, you have all. Now, I just commented to you before we went live. I was counting. I was like, how many Knicks are over under 2.5 assists made threes? Or sorry, 2.5 made threes for this game? 5. There's 5 different Knicks with an over under of 2.5 assists for this Miami game, which I think is just what it's going to be moving forward. Is there value in any of those? I think there is. Are we sure where the value is sitting here right now today? Maybe we'll be looking back on this 2.5 made threes number for Landry Shamet a week or two from now and be like, wow, remember when we could get Landry Shamet at 2.5 made threes? But I don't know. Maybe it's Deuce. Maybe it's someone else.
Yeah, I think to your point. All right, so let me ask you this. Who starts tonight?
Oh, I mean, assuming Deuce could go because he's questionable for personal reasons. Hope everything's okay. I would assume that Shamet starts, although, as I pointed out to Jeremy on the show yesterday, There are some very good numbers with Clarkson, Deuce, and Cat, like both ends of the floor. I would still assume that Shamet would get the start.
Okay, so all right, so we're looking at Mitch, Cat,
McCall, Landry, and Deuce.
Landry, and Deuce. Okay,
it's a nice two-way lineup.
It is a very nice two-way lineup, and the fact that we're saying about a lineup that includes Landry Shamet in the year of our Lord 2025 is like that's a testament to and the way you spoke about him in that post game was like how he seems like after like it was always there. There was always something there, but he couldn't like latch onto it. Maybe he's latched onto it here.
Hopefully, I mean that's what we hope for. But and then I like that because then you essentially, I mean, I'm not comparing these two as players. They are not similar players in terms of what they bring to the table. But Clarkson kind of slots into the role that Emmanuel Quickley slotted into once upon a time, where he enters the game whenever he enters the game, and maybe he just doesn't come off the floor for the rest of the half. Now, man, I got to find this Twitter account. There's some Twitter account that commented on a tweet that I had over the weekend that shows it like visualizes essentially the rotation patterns.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Brown has been waiting to put Clarkson in for pretty much the whole season until the start of the second quarter. My guess is that will change now that OG Anunoby is out and Jalen Brunson is out. So I would anticipate an earlier entry into the game for Clarkson, maybe, something midway through the first quarter. But I still think he could play the rest of the half. Clarkson's a guy that, like, man, some guys get tired. He as long as there's a ball out there for him to shoot, I think he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. Breaking news from our friend James Edwards III. Miles McBride will play tonight in Miami after being listed as questionable. And by the way, before we move on, this game in Miami, the Knicks got to so the last time they played in Miami, apparently for whatever reason, they didn't land until 2:00 in the morning. Now, listen, as someone who's been to Miami, you could get to Miami at 2 a.m. and still figure some things out. But this time, I'm pretty sure the Knicks got there bright and early. And even though it's a Sunday night, there's a nice place up on there's a hotel called Fountain Blue. And in the Fountain Blue is a certain club.
Keep going.
There's a certain club in about the four famous nighttime establishment in the Fountain Blue, and where many a celebrity have known to make appearances. So be careful of the South Beach flu when you make your bets today. And that's all that Stone Cold has to say about that.
How well versed? I don't know if we have room for another one of these. We might not. We might not. How well versed are you in Miami nightlife and whatnot and what have you?
I've been around the block a few times.
Okay, so Gershon Yabusele, as you know, I'm sorry, I'm derailing the pod.
No, let's just derail.
You're never going to ask me on this thing again. So Gershon has been putting out these social media posts before every game.
Yes.
I first of all, I want to meet the person that does this for him, because he's definitely not sitting around doing this himself. Mm-hmm. As someone who's tried to fuck around with graphics for the last 2 months, no. Yeah. What hotel is that in the background there? Do you know? I'm putting this up on the YouTube. Sorry for anybody listening on the podcast.
Okay. Well, I don't think it's the Fountain Blue.
Okay, that's what I was asking. Is it the Fountain? Okay,
that's not the Fountain Blue. That's not the Fountain Blue.
So it's just some random Miami South Beach hotel. Okay.
Yeah. The Fountain Blue, and we've gone completely off the rails here. Has a very it's actually like circular. It's very circular. There's like multiple buildings. It's very iconic. It's very.
I stayed in the hotel next to the Fountain Blue one time with my wife, and then I went for a morning run and ran past it. So I have a vague recollection.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
And I'll say this: it's actually a pretty. The Fountain Blue is the most family-friendly hotel and the most not family-friendly hotel in the world. Because they have a lot of they have you could drop, they have babysitting services, they have like multiple kids pools, so like it's like people bringing in families, right? It's also not the most family friendly, because I'll tell the story really quickly. I'll never forget. We went in 2019. So I remember me and young Zach of H, who was 3 years old at the time, were standing in line waiting to check in, and
5 naked women walk by. I was about to say that. Like, I don't have any boys, but I imagine he probably thought it was very family friendly at that point.
A number of women walked by in bathing suits, scantily clad.
You know what they call that? They call that an education.
So, but I think at age 3, it's like, okay, he doesn't really know what's going on besides maybe like, Daddy, like that's her behind. But if we went now that he's 9, it might be a different story. So, all right, let's get back on track. Let's get back on track to our future segment. So, this is where we review where the Knicks are from a future standpoint. So, first up, to win the title, the New York Knicks are now. Oh, I actually messed this up. Whatever. They are now 1,300
plus 1,300. Yeah.
As it's funny, my son is calling me because he's homesick today. I'm not going to answer.
I was about to say, hey, Daddy, can we go back to the Fountain Blue?
Actually, I'm gonna say this, Zach. I'm doing a show. I'll call you back.
There you go.
The Knicks were 4th last week. And now they're 5th. Which one of these teams you think jumped them?
I'm assuming the Rockets did. They're at plus 1,200.
The Rockets jumped them.
I mean, I watched most of the Rockets Magic game last night, and that Rockets team is legit. Here's my 2 issues with this. One, why are the Cavs plus 700 and the Knicks are plus 1,300? I don't understand that at all.
Dude, they have. There's been a sizable gap between Cleveland and New York in championship odds all season. It's been like Cleveland has been like plus 700, plus 800, and Knicks have always been like at least 10 to 1. I don't get it.
Something we got to talk about it on Takedown one of these days. Some is, I think, a little off in the water in Cleveland. And my other question for you is the best bet on this board, the one at the top, Oklahoma City Thunder plus 200 to win it all.
Taking my homer. Actually,
Nick hat off.
Taking my Knicks hat off. Actually, the best bet on the board is the one under it at Denver.
Nuggets at plus 600.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, the Knicks were 10 to 1 last week. They dropped to 13 to 1. I assume this is related to obviously the Brunson and more importantly the OG injuries. But again, as we preach, these are times to get value. So now you're getting 10 extra. You're getting 30 extra bucks.
Look, I put 2 future bets on involving the Knicks before the season. Knicks to lose to the Thunder in the finals and Knicks to lose to the Nuggets in the finals. I think I got something like 25 or 30 to 1. Maybe not 31, but it was like I got a nice return from Fanatics on both of those. If I was going to, which I actually should do, I should hedge my bets on both of those right now and just pick the Knicks to win the title at plus 1,300. Because, like, if you really believe the Knicks are going to make the finals, and it's not a slam dunk, but I don't know. I haven't seen anything to dissuade me from that belief. I think it's a great time. You know what? I'm actually going to literally do that right now. Continue.
Okay. So that's to win the title. To win the Eastern Conference, the Knicks are 2nd at plus 400. This is down from plus 350 last week. So they're still 2nd best. This numbers are going to change. It was cute when the Sixers were 3rd for like 10 minutes.
400.
Yeah. I think that's like 4 to 1. This team, clearly the 2nd best team in the conference to win the conference at 4 to 1 is interesting. However, well, actually, yeah, that's interesting. Now,
but there's, sorry. Okay, so you got Cleveland at plus 200, which again, I have my misgivings about that. That's fine. That's the books are higher on Cleveland than we are. That's okay.
That's fine.
It's not even like there's another team in the plus 400 or plus 500 range. The next team is down at plus 800. So it feels like plus 400 is just not where it needs to be. But I don't know. Maybe
I think this reflects as much as there are Knicks fans everywhere. The Knicks are much of a public team for people to move the line. People outside of New York, and there are way more non-New York Knicks fans than Knicks fans, still believe, well, if I'm going to bet a team, the Knicks ain't winning these. I'm going. And to your point, there's no one else. Like, you can talk yourself into Orlando all you want, or Detroit all you want, Tim Bontemps, but you're going to pick Cleveland. So, again, there might be some value here. For the win the division, so the Knicks are clearly the favorite. Like, I think I said last week, this number ain't going to get any lower. I mean, you're not going to get better odds. So, if you want to take this, bet it now. I wouldn't bet minus 170, but I would parlay it with something. Like, I think last week, Mensa and I spoke about parlaying this with like the Nuggets to win the division, like the Nuggets or the Thunder to win the division, and that's like a decent number.
Paul George is coming back this week, and look, he's. I know. I heard myself as I was saying it. I heard myself. But if he could come back and play in 2 out of every 3 games and be a 25-minute a game elite role player, and you add that to what the Sixers already are, which I think the Sixers right now are a middling team, with one elite player and some other very good players, and I'm putting Joel Embiid in the very good players category. Does Embiid round into something more than a very good player as the year goes on? If you're asking me where the value is for this one, it's not with Toronto at plus 750. It's with the Sixers at plus 350.
And to that, I will say, the first episode of this show I did with Mensa, and when we went over the division winners, I said, who the blood clot else is going to win this division? Like, who? And
what was it then?
It's always been like plus one. It's always been around plus 170. Actually, you know what? Because luckily I have saved.
Yeah, you have all this stuff.
I have all this stuff.
You know what the real smart bet is?
What?
Brooklyn Nets plus 50,000. Get in while the getting's good. You know what you can't start a winning streak without one win. And what did they get last night? A win.
When I put these screenshots together, I said to myself, how long will it be before Jonathan Macri makes a joke about the Brooklyn Nets? I swear to God, I thought that myself.
Listen, man, the Wizards had won one game all year. Only one. This is the first time that a loss has prompted a players-only meeting, which it did after this game last night, that I actually watched towards the end.
God bless you for watching Nets Wizards.
Yeah. I have disease. What can I say?
So on the 27th, the Knicks were minus 250 to win the division. So this number is moved because the Philadelphia 76ers are not the dumpster fire that many people believe, and the Raptors are
I wouldn't bet this today. I think the Knicks are going to weather this storm without OG and Brunson for however long he's out. I think they're going to weather the storm okay. But I think I would, obviously we don't know what's going to happen, and because we don't know what's going to happen, I would wait on this for a week and see. Because here's the thing: even if they have a really good week, I don't think the number is going to change that much in the other direction. But if they have a really bad week, like just maybe lose some close games, like we talked about, they haven't been in a lot of close games. Let's say they lose, 3 of the next 4, and they're a bunch of close losses. Maybe you could get this at like minus 140, 130, something like that in a week or two. I don't know.
Or what you could do, there's 2 options you could do. So one, as I said earlier, I put this up. If you parlay the Knicks and the Cavs to win their respective divisions, the Cavs are minus 250. It's plus 122. And again, who the Ross is going to like, unless you think the Bucks are going to win the Central.
Wait a minute, hold on. The Pistons are in the Central.
Well, if you think they're going to play 9-2 basketball,
I don't think they need to play 9-2 basketball the whole rest of the way. But I think that, that division is. I think that I'll put it this way. I think that division is more for grabs than the Atlantic.
That I agree with.
Yeah.
Like I said, Cavs are minus 250. Pistons are plus 275. So Fanatics is saying, yeah, whatever. This is cute. Cute start. We'll check back in January.
Pistons are plus 275 to win that?
Yes. And Milwaukee is 10-1. And I'm gonna pull up the standings right here to see where the hell how far out Milwaukee is.
Milwaukee. I mean, no, I would. So here's the thing: I would not take Milwaukee because again, they have 2 hurdles to get over as opposed to just one. And I do think both of the teams in front of them are better than them. But Milwaukee at 10-1. It's funny. Again, we're getting way off track. Anthony Davis showed up to we're going to talk about this on Takedown. Anthony Davis showed up to a Mavs game wearing a Packers uniform. Jordan Love, the quarterback of the Packers. And I was thinking, and everybody made light of the fact, well, you can't wear a Packers uniform to a Dallas jersey. My mind immediately went to Wisconsin, Milwaukee, because I forget who one of the national content creators pitched an AD trade to Milwaukee where they, I don't know, Turner and whatever else goes back. I'm like, Anyway.
So, and listen, Milwaukee's they're 3.5 games out of first. They're 1 game behind Cleveland. So if you believe Milwaukee can do it, which I don't think they will, but 10-1 is good value. Over-unders. So for the Knicks to win 50 games is -200. The Knicks to win 55 games is +185, 60 +700, and 65 +2200. All right, let's ignore 65.
I don't like any of this.
I believe the Knicks. I've pegged the Knicks as a 55-win team all year. So you're probably gonna get this a plus money now while Brunson and OG are out. I think this number will go away. This number will be negative within 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks.
That fit. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, you think which number will be negative in 2 to 3 weeks?
55 plus wins. I think this number will be negative by Christmas. This number might be negative. That's my call. So if I take it now. Now, if you think the Knicks are going to them, if you like Knicks to the moon, plus 700 for 60 wins is interesting. I'd just rather just take because the Knicks will win 59 games, which will be their most wins since 1993, which is the last time they won 60, and you'd lose your bet.
I don't like the value on any of this. I mean, if you were giving me at this point 50 or more regular season wins at -150, I would maybe think about that one. I don't like the value enough at -200, and I just don't think the team is going to win 55 or more games. I hope I'm wrong, but
well, we shall see. I think they could, but things happen. I thought they were going to win 53 last year, and Brunson got hurt, and they won
51.
They won 51. So there you go. All right, let's dive into let's wrap up with the NBA Cup. So
my favorite thing in the world.
Listen, as for those who are listening, I'm wearing an NYCFC jersey. I'm a soccer fan, so I love all domestic cups.
You know what I will give? It's real quickly. I will give the NBA credit for, or the Knicks credit for, whoever. Like all of the players after the Heat game, they did all stand there and say the right things. Like, yeah, it's a cup game. It means extra and this and that. I don't think for a second any of them actually give a flying you-know-what about this thing, but they're all saying the right thing. So
I believe so. Here's why I think they do care. It's because of the prize money, which
50 grand or 100 grand or something
to a role player. So it's like to the role players want
how
the
much
money.
is it per player? Hold on. How much is it per player? 50 or 100? I'll look it up.
Look it up. The role players care, and then the guys, the guys who own the big contracts care to get the money to help them win. So I remember Josh even spoke about that last year. He's like, hey,
I was wrong.
A guy like Campaign is like, yo,
no,
minimum contract, take 50 grand.
Hold on, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. This is my bad. It's $500,000 per player
to win the whole
for the winner. That's okay. So for Landry Shamet this year is going to make
$3 million.
3 point something. The cap number is different than what he actually makes because of the weird rules in the NBA. He's making $3 whatever million. This is a lot of money to him. There's a lot of money to do this with pride.
Yes.
Does Cat care about this?
I don't think he cares. Like, oh my God, I've lost 50 grand. I didn't get 50 grand, but like to your point,
500 grand. 500 grand.
Okay, no, what I'm saying is, okay, so if you make the quarterfinals,
You get 100.
Guaranteed 50 grand.
Oh no, 50, semis 100, runners up 200.
Yes. So like get to the quarterfinals. That's 50
I
grand.
bet Josh Hart cares about this.
He does. He said he alluded to this last year. He was like, we're trying to win because we're trying to get, some of the bench guys.
Mitch, how much money do you think one of those trucks cost?
Probably like 50 grand. No, not 50.
More than that.
No, 75 minimum.
All that the truck maybe, and then to get all the stuff tricked out, it probably doubles that number.
Yeah.
Okay, I stand corrected. Maybe they actually do care a little bit because this is legit money. So their remaining cup games, I should know this, but of course I don't because I don't care about the NBA Cup, are against against Charlotte and Milwaukee. At Charlotte, and then they play Milwaukee at home. That's a prime game on Friday night.
Yeah. So
but for what it's worth, the Charlotte game is the last game on this road trip. Anytime you have the last game of a 5-game road trip is tough, and then they're not going to have OG for that game. I would assume they'll have Brunson for that game, but who knows?
So let's actually I'm glad you brought this up. So Knicks to win the cup are plus 1,500. Last week they were. I just had this in front of me. Last week they were same odds, same odds as last week. Now Group C, and I bring this up because the only way it looks like, and I was doing on the permutations, because they lost to the Bulls, it's very likely they'll have to win their group to get to the quarterfinals, right? So as you see here, for those who are listening, Milwaukee is the favorite in our group at plus 150. Then the Knicks at plus 160. The Bulls are now 5-1 after being the favorites after week 1. And then Miami's plus 550, not listed the Charlotte Hornets, who are 0-2 and have already been eliminated. Shocker. So,
sorry.
On one hand, you would say, all right, I think the Knicks could put it to you like this.
Yeah.
If the Knicks, I believe for the Knicks to make it to the knockout stage.
Wait, so this is to win this group, not to make the cup. This is to win this group.
This is to win this group.
So basically, you're betting it's plus 160 that they're going to beat the Hornets on the last game of a 5-game road trip, and then they're going to come home and beat the Bucks. That's basically what you're betting.
And you need the Bucks. You need the Heat to beat the Bucks.
Oh, forget this. Then I don't like this value.
So here's where we're going with this. And let's do a quick recap. Knicks beat the Heat on Friday, and the Bucks beat the Hornets. That eliminated the Hornets. Goodbye. So here are the standings.
This is so
this is amazing, John. This is absolutely amazing.
Of course you say that because you're a soccer fan and you love all this nonsense.
Everything started somewhere. One day someone said, "Hey, why don't whatever."
I hope. Hold on. I'm sorry. The top 4 teams, as you can see in the NBA Cup standings right now today, are Detroit, Toronto, Milwaukee, and Orlando. I hope for the NBA's sake, and I say this obviously facetiously, those are the 4 teams that make it from the East, and the NBA is going to have to promote those 4 teams for this cup nonsense. Continue.
Well, John, there are 2 games left for each team. So the East in our group, Milwaukee is 2-0. Then it's Chicago, New York, Miami at 1-1. For the wild card spot, so the wild card spot is the team with the best record that did not win this division, that did not win this group. The Knicks are currently right now that spot is being held by Orlando, who's 2-0 with a point differential of 20 because point differential matters, and the Knicks are 9th behind Cleveland, Chicago, Miami, Atlanta. Here's where I'm going with this. Instead of betting 1 plus 160 to win the group, here's what I would do.
What would you do?
I would bet. So on Friday, Miami plays Chicago. I would bet Miami to beat Chicago. I would bet Miami to beat Chicago. Because you want Chicago out of there because the Knicks lost to Chicago, but they beat Miami. So if the Knicks and Miami are the same record, Knicks win the tiebreaker, not Chicago. So let's say that game is, let's say Miami money line is plus 110. and you put $100 on it, they win. So now you have $210.
Great.
Then I'm taking all that money, and this is why I call the patient parlay. I'm taking all that money, and then I'm betting it on Knicks Hornets. Because, yes, it's a 5th game of 5-game road trip, but if the Knicks lose this game, everything is done.
Yeah.
It's done. Then, let's say the Knicks win. And that game, the Knicks will be they'll probably be like minus 150, right?
Probably.
So you take the 210, you bet that.
Mo Ball might play, but yeah.
Yeah. You take that money, you bet it. Now you've won maybe you won $100, like $300. Then you take that 300 and you put it on Bucks Heat, and then you take that money, you put it on Bucks Heat, and you put it on the Heat. Because then what happens is if the Heat win, you got the Bucks out of here. Because the last game of the group stage, the Knicks play the Bucks. So don't bet that. But at that point, so don't do that's a 4-leg parlay. But if you believe, what I'm saying is, it's better to do those 3 things, and you'll get a much better payout than plus 160.
Can I give you a better idea than all of that? I mean, that was really impressive, by the way. Can I give you a better idea than all of that you just said?
Yes.
Bet the Milwaukee Bucks to win the NBA Cup because Darvin Ham has never lost an NBA Cup game. He's 16-0 in these freaking things, and he's an assistant coach for the Bucks, and the Bucks are going to win it.
This is why you're a legend in business, and by the business I mean the industry. All right, so
I'd also like to place a bet that 5 years from now, no one will remember who the fuck wins the NBA Cup this year. But I don't know. I don't know the Fanatics has odds for that.
They do not. But I will say, you know what will make the NBA Cup legitimate, quote unquote legitimate? When a team like the Knicks win it, because we will remind everyone that we are NBA Cup champions, and that will get people to take this seriously. Be like, oh no, we can't have them having anything.
You know what I think it'll be. I actually, I'm not sure I really believe this. If it ever does become legitimate, I think it will be two reasons. The main reason will be is if they actually give this team some kind of a benefit, whether it be the draft or more likely some kind of a buy or something. Mm-hmm. But I actually think there's a way to do that. But lower down the scale, I would say if like I'm trying to think of a good example of this. This is absurd because it wouldn't happen. But if like the Wizards won the NBA Cup this year, or I'm trying to think of a slightly more realistic example, like a next year's version of the Wizards. Let's say the Wizards are like a slightly below 500 next team, but their young players were like kind of up and coming. If they won the cup, everybody may look back on that and be like, if the Wizards actually ended up becoming good in a year or two after that, be like, oh yeah, that's when it started. But no, I just until they offer something of value to the team that wins this, I don't see it.
Or if the team that wins the cup and the championship in the same year. And then that team, because best believe, like, let's say the Knicks won the cup and won the title. Best believe there are 2 trophies, the float with 2 trophies rolling up the Canyon of Heroes. Like,
fine.
Absolutely.
I just don't want to, unless that happens, unless they win both in the same year, I do not want to ever see an NBA Cup banner hanging in Madison Square Garden. You will. They can't retire fucking Bernard King's number or Carmelo Anthony's number or Charles Oakley's number, and I'm going to see a cup banner? Come on.
Well, listen, the Lakers have a cup banner, and they're the freaking Lakers. Now, you know why they have a cup banner? You know why?
Why?
I'm just reporting this. I have no sources. This is because Adam Silver told them to.
Probably.
And you know why? And then because when if the Lakers winning the first cup and putting up a banner makes it okay for other teams to do it. Like same thing with the Celtics. The Lakers, the Celtics, like the Warriors now, even like the Bulls. Like if the first team to win it were the Hawks and they put up a banner, they would get made fun of till the cows come home. Or like the Jazz, or like Minnesota. So, all right.
Fair.
This has been the longest episode in KFS Weekly Wagers history, and I enjoyed every single minute of it.
I was about to say, I'm going to teach you a lesson never to have me on again.
No, you'll be back. You're my first call. Meant to can't show up. All right. So before we got Jonathan, anything you want to anything to take us home?
Yeah, come if you like playful banter about basketball, come watch me and Shawn and Jeff at 2 p.m. today over at NBA Takedown on the YouTube channel there. And what else? And then we'll flip that into a podcast soon thereafter. And then I'll be on the post game today. And I have the video picks for our Fanatics official picks today.
All right. And really quickly, shout out to everyone who pulled up to our watch party on Friday. It was a lot of fun. Congratulations.
Good job by you.
2 people. Thank you. 2 separate people won tickets to Knicks games. We had giveaways, we had prizes, we had vibes. It was a good time. So make sure that you follow Knicks Film School on all socials at Knicks Film School. If you like what you hear and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the Knicks Film School podcast on Apple, anywhere you get your podcast. But if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 stars. If you're watching us on YouTube and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe so you can know when we go live, like we did today with KFS Weekly Wagers, as well as John's recap show, X and O's with Benji and DJ, KFS After School with myself and Jeff J. And if you want even more Knicks Film School content, you can either sign up for our Substack newsletter written by the one and only Jonathan Macri, or for our Patreon, where you'll get extra content, including Benji and DJ's film breakdowns, Benji's grade book, extra podcasts with John, where he talks about the league at large, and so forth and so on. So, for Jonathan Macri, I am Shawn for W. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Knicks Nation, let's ride. If you're out on your bike tonight, do wear white.
Must be 21 or over? Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See Fanatics Sportsbook app.